Let's talk to Patty Shields, who's chair of Democrats abroad in Ireland, but she's in North Carolina right now working on the campaign. We're literally 4 days away. Where are we? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night for us, Patty. We're going to be up all night. I'm doing a show from 1 a.m., which is taking us all the way through the night, counting the votes as they come in. It's going to be a very exciting time. It's still pretty much a dead heat at the moment. I know that some people are saying Donald Trump's pulled away slightly, but it's still pretty open, isn't it?
I think it's super open, and it's one of the reasons why I'm here on the ground in North Carolina, just feeling like I need to be in the midst of it all, figuring it out. But okay. I will be back in Ireland on the night of the night of the election.
Oh, you're not going to stay? You're not going to stay there for the election? You should, surely.
I'm not. Early voting ends on Saturday here. It ends tomorrow, so I'm gonna be here through early voting in North Carolina. Right. Head back and be on the other side of the pond, because who knows how long it's going to take to count these votes.
Well, there is that problem, isn't it? Because I was looking back at 4 years ago, because it's a long time in the business of journalism and politics and all that, and we did a show overnight back then 4 years ago, but apparently Pennsylvania didn't get confirmed and called properly as a win until the following day. So it didn't have, so Wednesday, we're talking possibly Thursday before some results will come in, right?
Yeah, and I remember I was living back in the States and living in New Jersey at that point, and we were all kind of like watching the clock, saying like, when are we going to find this out? So, I think, states are ready for that. I think a number of states have already said they're going to pre-count some of the mail-in votes. There are overseas votes, which is what we were working to get out in Ireland and across the world with Democrats abroad, that take a few days to arrive and get counted later, but it's going to be a close one, and those last-minute votes and those last counted votes, we may be waiting for that window to close.
And I seem to remember as well last time around, Donald Trump was very upset with Fox News because they called, I think it was Nevada, didn't they, as the sort of the final state of the night, if you like, because different to this country, you can call as a network, you can call a result without actually having to wait for the polls to shut.
Yeah, and I think given the results of 2016 and the closeness of 2020, and I think certainly understanding the tension that we saw within the country, even on January 6th, people are going to be reluctant to call this one early, and we've got battleground states across multiple time zones. Right. So I think it's going to be a long one. So get your coffee or your cups of tea ready, because I think it's going to go into the wee hours at the very least, if not a couple days. Yeah,
absolutely right. And the campaign has been pretty, I suppose, filthy and dirty and nasty in some ways. Not least with the name calling that's been going on. And the most recent thing that happened, of course, was Joe Biden calling Donald Trump supporters garbage and then trying to back off on it. Here's the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, talking about that.
Can you just address the president's comments yesterday referring to Trump supporter as garbage?
A couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Which is why he this is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching.
I mean, I think it is pretty clear, isn't it? He did say it. There's not much point in trying to deny it, really, is there?
Well, I don't think so. And I think Joe Biden, is not running in this race either. Right. I think, the news cycle here is quite fast. And I think, what was playing around on the TVs, although I have to say the garbage truck was great theater.
That was very funny, yeah. And it went absolutely viral, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But then we moved on to Trump saying he's going to be the protector of all women, whether they like it or not, while he was wearing that high-res vest. So, there's the news cycle, and the gaffes and the sayings, it's minute by minute here.
Oh, it is. I think it's true to say, though, as well, that he's kind of come across better in the last, since the McDonald's episode, and because I think when Kamala first got the nomination and was now the candidate, he was a bit wrong-footed. I think he didn't really know what to do. He wasn't sure how to respond. He wasn't sure how to deal with her in a way, because he knew how to deal with Biden. But I think he's kind of learned from that time, and now he's just kind of being entertaining, which is playing in his favour, I think.
I think it plays very well to his base. He is a master, and a master at motivating his voters to get out there. And it really is going to come down to who gets their voters out on the day. So I think you will see him continue to lean into the messaging that motivates his base. I think he knows that, the sea of undecided voters is shrinking as we get closer to the day, and it's really about who's going to turn up to the polls on the day. So he will continue to execute his mastery of the theater of politics, and I think Kamala needs to continue to focus on the positive message of they're very different messages of bringing women, bringing young energy into the fold and making sure they turn out for her in the day. So it's going to be really close, and it's a coin toss in many of these battleground states right now. You're going to continue to see these candidates pushing their message through all the states in early voting. I know Kamala's having a big rally here on Saturday. It's the last day of early voting. So this will be a run-up all the way to the end.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. That's Patty Shields, Chair of Democrats Abroad in Ireland. So he's actually in North Carolina at the moment. But, of course, just as I say, 4 days away, Tuesday night. Don't miss it, November the 5th. It's technically bonfire night, but it's also presidential election night.